you.
Okay, good afternoon. Welcome to my presentation about interaction forms in the classroom. As introduction, I teach at Montessori Lyceum Oostpoort, ISK-afdeling. What is ISK-afdeling? The students are from different corners of the world, international students. They've just arrived in the Netherlands and they are mostly busy with learning Dutch. They have just 3 hours English per week, but the class involves different kinds of levels from A0 to C1.
Wow.
In these classes the interaction form that I want to present today was implemented in 2 classes that there are 4 native speakers, American, Canadian, and I also have IMV'ers, refugees, minderjarige refugees that are from Syria and they don't speak any English.
Wow.
I implemented 3 forms of interaction in my classes. Digital interaction I used for vocabulary, reviewing, and exit tickets. It was lesson up. I always use digital interaction, but when when you're used to it, you think that the students are also used to it. But some of the students are not digital literate enough.
Yeah.
So every session, I think that you have to be clear about the instructions, what to do, what not to do, and also be prepared for unexpected things that happen in the class, lack of, internet connection, battery, or whatever. And you need to have a replacement for that digital interaction. The interaction during instruction I also tried, and it was for teaching reading and practicing skimming and scanning. I tried to use concept checking questions and instruction checking questions. But the one that I want to talk about in details today is interaction between students and interaction and language, speaking. So I implemented it 3 times in my class, 2 different classes. And to start, I want to just look at some theoretical underpinnings that I used, and my interactions are based on these theories. The theories of Krashen, affective filter. So most of the students have affective filter. They have anxiety to communicate in English. I wanted to lower this filter and try to help them feel more comfortable to communicate and to expose them to language, using the language, so it will lower their anxiety. And also my anxiety. I have affective filter too as a teacher, so after 24 years of teaching, still speaking is the most challenging skill to teach. Because sometimes you're not sure that you will achieve the objectives of the lesson, and you will be disappointed at the end of the lesson. So, Schwein's output hypothesis was also another theory that I considered here. So that it says, the more they produce the language, the more they can solidify the language that they've learned, the lesson that they've learned. And interaction hypothesis of Long suggests that language development is facilitated by meaningful So it's just not just learn, okay, do the exercises. The interaction must be meaningful. Then the language will be facilitated. And collaborative learning, so the students learn better from each other than you as a teacher. You are as a role, as a model, to just lead them, to help them, to propose structured lessons, but the students learn confidently from each other. Yeah, my goals for motivating the students to speak English together in the class, of course, to lower my affective filter, as I mentioned, and to explore more student-centered activities. Yeah, autonomy, and yeah, to design my lesson, my speaking lessons, I had a look at the speaking cycles of Battenberg and Scrivener. It is emphasizing on practicing, feedback, and reflection. So the students will get the structured lesson, they will learn the language, they will practice it together, and they give feedback to each other, and at the end they will reflect on it as a whole class. And the information gap is also important. The importance of information gap is here, that it says communicative. When they communicate meaningfully to each other, it can bridge missing information. So also modeling, practicing, and reflecting, and monitoring of the teacher is also here important as a speaking cycle of a Scrivener. So when they are interacting in speaking, they are relying on each other. It boosts motivation, engagement, and also it creates positive independency. It doesn't matter how accurate they are. The fluency is most important factor in task-based activities here. So, teachers' roles. I try to be a presenter. We always do it as teachers. We are a presenter to just present the lesson, and to introduce the lesson as efficiently as possible. We are a pedagogue to create a safe environment, and we are methodologists, structure an efficient lesson, and we monitor the progress of the students, and we are a closer to wrap up the class and to evaluate the lesson. So to design my lesson, I must have paid attention to the time. So the activities were done in groups of 3. One of them was it was a rotating speaking activity. One of them is the observer who gives feedback. The first activity was an IELTS exam practice speaking part 1. So one of them is the examiner, the other one is the examinee, and the other one is the observer. The second one was giving a following instructions, was a physical movement of a yoga instruction. Again, in a rotating role they had. The third implementation was the same. The yoga implementation, the yoga movements, but here I focused more on feedback part. How did it go? The first implementation, yeah, I was applied in class ESK W, group of 18 students. So first I go through these improvements. So this, first of all, the students were reluctant. They didn't want to do it.
Mm.
It was too boring for them. The instruction was not clear. Not enough scaffolding, and my observer believed that they finally did it because they loved me. Otherwise, they wouldn't have done it.
Mm.
For group forming, there was a bit discussion. So I made the groups first. I gave each student a letter, so because I needed 6 groups of 3, A, B, C, D, E, and then they had to find their group mates.
Yeah.
So it was a mess. And they weren't satisfied with their group.
Oh.
I applied some autonomy, but the others were also reluctant, so they wanted to change their group, so but it was not possible. The observer suggested that, okay, next time let them choose their own group, but in second try you will see that what happened. I will tell you. So, but at the end, so the unclear instruction, boring activity, and not enough scaffolding led to a not successful lesson. But at the end, the students, eventually they accepted to do their speaking test, and they did it well, and they gave a good feedback. They were expecting more fun, but finally, they felt comfortable to do the activity. But I was not satisfied. In implementation 2, the yoga instruction, I modified my lesson to a more fun activity and simpler, more interacting, and the lesson objectives and instructions were clear to the students. So they used more movement and visual also interactions, and it was competitive too.
Mm.
What went well here, they were motivated to speak, and they spoke, and they listened. They had to listen to each other carefully.
Mm.
The cognitive effort was also motivated, and they gave feedback, but not as expected, because still they had the lack of rubric. They didn't know what should they say, how should they reflect on each other's work. So here we can have a look at the video of the interaction. It was a mess.
This was the yoga one.
The yoga
Okay.
second attempt, yeah.
They look like they're having fun, though.
Yeah. But here again,
Yeah.
I asked them to make their own groups, but something that was not satisfactory here.
Right.
So the stronger students were together,
Yeah,
and they
okay.
left weaker students, and they had nothing to do. So
Yeah.
it was not good option. It's not always good to listen to your observer, so you should decide your own,
But at least
make
you
your
tried,
own decision.
right?
So,
This is what it's all about. You experiment and then
Yeah.
you figure it out, right?
yeah, so they gave feedback, but it was not the structure. I was not happy because at the end of the lesson, I asked them, okay, give me the feedback form, and nothing. You know why? The timing was not clear.
Okay.
So the third try, I had the timing, and I had a timer for each role, and I had a rubric, and very specified,
Yeah.
and simplified feedback form.
Yeah.
After each role, I pause the activity to calm down the class because it was too restless.
Okay.
Look, I hear that. Look, I paused the yoga activity and create a calm environment because the students were really restless. Where is my restless here?
Ah.
Yeah. Look, they were sitting. No, so I decided to pause after each activity,
Yeah.
each role, and then give them some time
Yeah.
to reflect on each other, to
Yeah.
give feedback, and next role. And also the role clarity. Clarity, where is it?
Uh-huh.
Oh no. Yeah, here. The roles. So for us as, I don't know, mature people, it's always easy to make a roles. Okay, you give the instruction, you follow, I will give feedback. It takes forever for them
Yeah.
to make the roles. So it's better to just clarify their roles, assign their roles, and then it will be more time consuming. And yeah. So in implementation 3, the yoga instruction, I focus on the feedback form, individual accountability went well, and they were asked to share their instructions first in Padlet, and I gave direct reflection on their instructions. So the instructions were correct. All the instructions were structured correct, and the grammatically were correct. So,
Okay.
and they felt more confident. Then I improved the feedback quality. I was more focused on constructive input and the enthusiastic participation. That I allocated time for each role in peers engagement, and I rolled the stress and restlessness of the class. So to be improved on my third attempt, I would schedule a brief class-wide question and answer round at the end. So the whole class reflection was not satisfactory. So next time I will focus more on that. And here you will see the implementation 3.
I think we'll need to wrap up in just a few minutes, not to interrupt, but to make sure that your colleagues have enough time to talk
Yeah.
to.
Oh. Now here you see that it is well
Yeah.
designed, calmer,
Yeah.
and
Some people are sitting down.
yeah.
Yeah. Ah. That looked much improved indeed,
Yeah.
much less chaotic.
To evaluate the interaction, do I have still time? How much
A
time?
few minutes, yeah.
3 minutes?
It's on about 18 minutes right now.
All right, so let's give it another minute, wrap it up.
Oh, okay.
Tell us what you learned,
Yeah. So
Um,
what I learned.
what you evaluated.
So evaluation of my interaction forms. So effective filters is also, we have to lower effective filters.
Yeah.
Instruction and contraction, interaction is the most important. Is the importance of complete instruction, and good scaffolding is important. Digital interaction brings variety to the classroom, makes it more fun, and interaction between students, if it is organized well, then it promotes language use.
Yeah.
And my personal development, so as a teaching is interaction, both for students and for the teacher. So I have practiced lowering my own affective filter and overcoming my personal nerves
Yeah.
is crucial for my professional spelling problems. Yeah, student-centered teaching and collaborative learning concludes to more independent and confident students and develop basic skills, class management, instruction, and questioning techniques and giving feedback is essential. And further, I want to explore more digital possibilities and references.
Thank you. They're older than I expected. Whoever would like to go next, we can make a smooth transition, but I might keep